Hello guys. We are going to continue from where we stopped last time on this paper. Yeah, we reached up to number 14. So now we'll move forward to number 15. And the first question asked was name the type of skeleton found in the grasshopper and the shipper. Yeah, so basically you have two main types of skeletons. We have the exoskeleton and endoskeleton. Though we may talk of the hydroskeleton and all that, but the two main types are the exoskeleton and endoskeleton. So for the case of the grasshopper, we would say we have an exoskeleton, and for the sheep, we have an endoskeleton. Why am I saying this? Is because the skeleton of the grasshopper, it covers the outside of the body, while that of the sheep, it's inside the body. That's why you have the exo and endo. Exo outside, endo inside. And now then the type of response are shown by the leaves of Mimosa pudica when they fall after being touched. So this is about touch. We talk of digmotropism. Digmotropism it is. Now, and what about sperms when they swim towards ovum? We talk of positive chemotaxis. Remember the ovum releases some chemical substances which will attract or make the sperms to swim towards it. So it's swimming towards, so positive chemotaxis. And now talking of euglena, when they swim towards the source of light. Now light, photo means light. So we talk of positive, sorry, positive phototropism. Positive phototropism it is. And now let's see about give an example. The next question, give an example of a sex-linked trait on X chromosome. A sex-linked trait on an X chromosome. There are several, but we are just going to mention now. Can talk of hemophilia. And now below is a nucleotide strand. We have adenine, guanine, thymine, and cytosine. So identify the type of nucleotide strand. So this will be DNA. We'll see why. DNA. Why is that? Because the moment you see thymine, thymine is only present in a DNA strand. Because when you talk of an RNA, and then so if you talk of an RNA, so the RNA will be having uracil instead of thymine. So this will be DNA. And I'll give you the reason for the answer above. So that's the question. So presence of what? Thymine. So that's basically the answer for that. So we're going to move to the next part of the paper. Yeah. Scroll down. So here we are. So the diagram below shows a staging cell division. So now you're required to identify the stage. So before that, there's something I want you to note here. Yeah, what is that? So we call this a synapsis. It's a synapsis. Why is it a synapsis? You can see the interaction of the two strands of two different chromosomes. So now, if whenever you see a synapsis in the stage of a cell division, the first thing that should ring in your mind is process 1 of meiosis. So this is process 1 of what? Of meiosis that is taking place here. So now we are being asked, okay, name the stage of cell division that is being exhibited above. So we've talked of process 1 of meiosis. Now, what is the significance of the phenomenon shown to the species? So the significance is for genetic variation. It enhances genetic variation. Why? Genetic variation because of the crossing of the chromosomes. You know, when they cross together here, yeah, you'll get that there will be exchange in genetic material. So exchange of genetic material leads to genetic variation. That's the importance. Now differentiate between respiration and a respiratory surface. So respiration generally is the process that yields energy. So when you ask to define respiration, so respiration basically can talk of it as let me type here. It's a process by which living organisms, okay, or rather food, rather by which food is broken down both physically and chemically to yield energy. Process by which food is broken down both physically and chemically to yield energy. So that's the what you talk of being a respiration. What about a respiratory surface? Now a respiratory surface is the site, just a site, where gaseous exchange takes place. For example, in leaves, in leaves this we talk of stomata. So that's a site where gaseous exchange takes place. So that's what you talk of a respiratory surface. And now, sorry. Now going on to the next question, differentiate between a respiration and a respiratory surface. We've done that. Name two adaptations of the skin of the frog to gaseous exchange. So when you're being told of an adaptation, remember you have to state the adaptation and its importance. Just don't just state the physical modification. No, physical modification and the importance. So for instance, for the first one of the skin of the frog, we'll say that the skin of the frog is moist. Why? It's moist. Why? For ease, okay, or to dissolve respiratory gases. Dissolve respiratory gases. And the second part, it's thin, a thin skin. Why? Why? For ease of gaseous exchange. Why is it for ease of gaseous exchange? Because now the gases will be diffusing over some smaller distance, you would say. The gases will be diffusing over some smaller distance to reach the inside of the skin. That's why that's so moist to dissolve respiratory gases and thin for ease of gaseous exchange. So let me just grab, okay, we can just complete the page. So a man's urine gave a positive reaction with Benedict's solution and the disease was suffering from. So the moment you say that it gave a positive reaction with Benedict's solution, that means that that urine contains some sugars or glucose. And whenever you see that somebody's, you know, the kidneys are modified to make sure that we excrete less, very minimal glucose because glucose is important in our bodies. So the moment you see that you have a lot of glucose in your urine, then you are suffering from a condition. And what condition is that? That condition now will be diabetes mellitus. So let's start it here. Diabetes mellitus. Sorry, diabetes mellitus. That is the condition that you'll be suffering from. And now he has been told that state two ways in which the symptoms of the condition can be controlled. So first of all, what do you think? Why do you think you are excreting a lot of glucose faster in the first place? It's because now you have been, maybe you've been absorbing a lot of glucose. Maybe you've been taking a lot of glucose into your body. Foods contain a lot of glucose. So the first way you can control is by the regulation of diet intake. Regulation of diet intake. Of diet intake. What are you taking? You know, how will you control this disease? Diet intake. What are you taking? That will basically form a basis of what you are expected now. Regulation of diet intake. That's basically the main way to regulate this disease. So now onto the next page. Okay. So yeah. So here we are. So the question 22 asks, a student collected an organism and noted it had a segmented body and two pairs of legs per body segment. So please note that you've been given two characteristics of an organism here. First of all, it has a segmented body, and the second of all, it has two pairs of legs per body segment. What are we talking about here? So, okay, first of all, when you are given segmented body, didn't you give you an exact way to identify which type of organism is this? Because it may be from the kingdom, okay, not kingdom, but class Chilopoda, class Diplopoda, all those have segmented bodies. But now being told two pairs of legs per body segment, that is specific to a certain class. Which class is that? We talk of class, comes from the class Diplopoda. And an example of that, you can talk of the millipede. Let me write it here. The millipede, yeah, it's from the class Diplopoda. And now, okay, yeah, name the class to which the organism belongs, class Diplopoda. And then name two of the features that the student may have observed in this organism. So first of all, we say that it has a segmented body, two pairs of legs per body segment. So what other characteristics do you expect to get in such an organism? Remember, this class, its organisms usually have an antenna. That's one of the characteristics. Usually have an antenna. And the antenna, as you can recall, it usually to navigate movement. And now, what are the characteristics can we talk about in this type of organism, apart from the antenna? Yeah, maybe you can talk of, yeah. They usually have compoundizer, not simple. They usually have compoundizer. That's another characteristic of the class Diplopoda, organisms of this class. Now, the next question asks, name two structures of gaseous exchange in aquatic plants. So aquatic plants, what are aquatic plants, first of all? Aquatic plants are the plants that grow in areas with water, more water, okay, what do I talk? Abundance of water. Those are the ones that we call aquatic, maybe in the seas, in the dams, in the lakes, all that. Those are aquatic plants. So which two structures take part in the gaseous exchange in such a plant? So first of all, we have the stomata. They will not very, okay, the stomata won't play a big part because remember the leaves are immersed in water. But yeah, they usually have stomata, but okay, mainly on the upper surface because, for example, for the floating, remember you have the floating, the immerged, and the submerged. So for the floating, for instance, they have stomata. Oh yeah, stomata on the upper part, mostly on the, okay, they have few on the lower part, but mainly on the upper part for gaseous exchange. What else do you expect to have as gaseous exchange sites for pneumatophores? We can talk of pneumatophores. Pneumatophores. What are pneumatophores? These are the aerial roots. Pneumatophores are the aerial roots. The roots that come out into the surface and they have gaseous exchange structures. So that's basically the two structures you can get in a gaseous exchange for aquatic plants. And now the next question, what is the effect of contraction of diaphragm muscles during breathing in mammals? Remember the process of breathing. When does the diaphragm contract? This during breathing in. So like you are being asked, after the diaphragm contracts, what else happens in the respiratory system? So first of all, we'll be having okay, let me just write it down here. Once the diaphragm contracts, what do you expect? Increase in thoracic cavity. Remember, when it contracts, it will assume when it contracts, it will assume a flattened shape. When it relaxes, a dome shape. So when it contracts, it will increase the thoracic cavity. So that's one of the one of the things that you'd expect is a resultant of diaphragm muscles contraction, increasing the thoracic cavity. What will happen about the pressure? The pressure decreases. The pressure in the lungs will decrease. Pressure decreases to allow air to flow into the lungs. Yeah, that's basically about it. And now we got the next question. Okay. Sorry for this, number 24. Can see the diagram is not labeled because it's asking diagram will be shows part of mammalian blood circulatory system is ambulatory glands and blood vessels A and B. Unfortunately, it's not been labeled. Yeah, so we're going to skip this one. Just a minute here. Okay, good to go. Now the next page, here we are. Okay. And number 25, huh? So the first question asked, a student made equidistant marks on a radical of dicotyledonous seedling. After 3 days, the distance between the marks were measured and were being as quite the same as the aim of the experiment. So if you make marks on a radical of a dicotyledonous seedling, and now you go for the trace and come back, what do you expect? Here we are going to, it's like we are measuring the growth rate of the radical because obviously we expect the intervals to have increased between the respective marks to have increased. So we are going to, it's like we are checking about the growth rate of the radical. So that's the aim of the experiment, to determine the growth rate of what? The growth rate of the radical. That's about it. Growth rate of the radical. And now predict the results that are likely to be obtained by the students. What results would you expect the students to get? Simple. You expect that now the lengths between equidistance marked would have been increased, increased length between equidistant marks. So that's basically about it. That's what we could have expected to be obtained by the student. Yeah, so now on to the next question. Name the disease caused by HIV. What the disease caused by HIV? That is AIDS. And now, why is it? Give a reason why it is difficult to cure the disease named above. Because first of all, it's because of mutation of the virus. Remember the virus, the HIV virus, that one, it mutates continuously. So you find that the virus that you treated yesterday, by after 1 week, it will have a different version of itself, a different mutation. So curing it becomes a bit difficult. And also, apart from mutation of the virus, you can talk of the disease. Apart from the mutation of the virus, you can say the disease also attacks or integrates itself into the DNA of an individual. Integrates into the DNA. And once it integrates into the DNA, the disease becomes somehow unreachable. Because now, when you want to mess with the disease, you are going to basically be messing with the DNA of the individual. So that's another reason why it's difficult to treat it. Now we go to the next question. Give one preventive measure of the Lyme disease. There are several preventive measures, and so there's this. Okay, we can talk of we talk of ABCs. There's this acronym used called ABCs. So A is abstinence. A is abstinence. For C is use of condoms. And then for B, I can't recall exactly, but it just represents some various ways to prevent getting this disease. But the best and the most accurate one is abstinence, abstain from sex. Now we have to go to the next part of the question. Plants of a particular species grown in a certain habitat flower at the same time. Plants of a particular species grown in a certain habitat of the flower at the same time. What is the importance of this adaptation? Okay, sorry. Particular species grown in a certain habitat flower. So yeah, you find that if you decide to grow certain plants of the same species in the same area, when the flowering time comes, it comes usually at the same time. And now you have been asked, what is this importance of this condition? Yeah, so, okay, so first of all, we can talk of predator saturation. What am I talking about? Remember when they flower at the same time, there are predators that are waiting to eat those seeds. But if they are found at the same time, basically we'll be having a lot of seeds. So they won't deplete them. So some will continue to maturity. As would not have happened if they flower at different times, the plants may have consumed all of them. But now, at different times, predators will be saturated. Another importance for this is because it will enhance cross-pollination between the plants. Cross-pollination will occur between the plants. Yeah, that's about it. Now give twirls played by bark in the plant. So the bark, you know the bark, the outside covering. So first of all, prevents against physical or mechanical damage. Physical damage, that's one of them. Physical damage and also pathogens as well. Yeah, so it will prevent pathogens from entering the plant. Against physical damage, then you also have insulates the plant now against water loss, to reduce water loss in the plant. Yeah. Yeah, now we go to maybe the final part of the paper now. Um, Final part of the paper. Okay. So here we are, the last page of the paper. So let's start. So the first question says, the diagram below represents a bone obtained from a mammal. And now they are being asked to name the bone. So let me show something here. So this should be a hint for you, this structure here. You see here, what is this? This is the olecranon process, because this is where the not sorry, the humerus comes and fits in here of the hand, the humerus of the hand. So this should be a hint, you see, this olecranon process. And now you've been asked, name bone Lebodex. So if this is the olecranon process is of the ulna, and the ulna is attached to somehow to the radius, they are almost in intimate contact with the radius. So now for the bone Lebodex, will be the radius. What about the structure about P? We've talked about it. This is the olecranon process. Olecranon process. Now we move on to the next question. Question 30, that is sorry. Just submit this. I need to erase this one. Okay, so now a student mashed a piece of ripe banana and made it into a paste by adding water. Placed the paste in a whisk tubing and suspended it in a beaker containing iodine solution shown below. The setup was left for 40 minutes. So the student took a banana, crushed it into a paste, placed it in a whisking tube in this one here, then immersed it into an iodine solution, this one. And now you have been asked, see the physiological process under investigation. So this is basically diffusion. Why? Would it have been osmosis? We'll be seeing water here, but we are talking of iodine. So mostly when you see iodine and there's no water, mostly we are talking about diffusion. And now, because now you are being asked, account for the results obtained in the table. So what will you expect? Now, in this one here, we'll expect that the solution or the paste in the visiting tubing, turns blue-black. Turns blue-black. Why? Because the iodine from the beaker will have diffused through the semi-permeable membrane, which is the viscin tubing, into the paste. Remember when iodine mixes with glucose, it will form a blue-black solution. That's the results for the, that's one of the observations. We'll have like 3 observations here. Then we'll talk of the contents of viscin tubing increases. Why? Because iodine being of smaller particles diffuses into the viscin tubing, increasing its volume. But now what about the contents of the beaker? The contents of the beaker decreases. So that's basically about it. Yeah. Now we go to the next question. Industrial waste may contain metallic pollutants. Explain how the pollutants may indirectly reach and accumulate in the human body when the waste are dumped into rivers. So the first point is that it may reach the human body through what? Remember, it's dumped into the rivers. Some plants will take the metallic pollutants. And when now, for example, let's say it's a plant that is next to a river, maybe even the guava plants, they should grow next to the rivers. And now the children will come and take the guavas. So the guavas will be containing some of the metallic pollutants. That's one way you can indirectly take. And now for the other method is when remember you have some aquatic plants in the river, inside the river. Those aquatic plants will be fed on by the fish. The fish will take those metallic pollutants from the plants. Then the human being will go and take the fish. So those are 2 ways in which you may get those metallic pollutants. Now, for the last question, during the oxidation of certain food substances, the respiratory quotient was found to be 0.718. Name the type of food substance being oxidized. So this obviously is fat. Fat is the one that usually has a respiratory quotient of 0.7. And now give 2 advantages of the food substances named. If you use fat, there are 2 advantages. One, fat yields more energy than any other food substance. Yields more energy than any other food substance. And then also fat can be stored in maybe large amounts. You can talk of large amounts in the skin or wherever other space, so that, fat is usually used in terms of talk of during starvation. Maybe you are fasting, you are not taking any glucose. That when you be using fats now. So I think we are about done here. So thank you guys for watching till the end and concentrating. I hope this really helped you. If you did, let me know in the comment section. And also, if you have any challenge or any other area that you want us to clarify, please mention it in the comment section. And please subscribe to my channel, like and share, so that you may be informed for more videos being posted. Thank you. I wish you the best in your upcoming KCSE examinations. Have a nice day.